In the heart of rural Germany, the nights are quiet, too quiet. The air smells like rain and stone, and the church bells echo across the hills like warnings instead of prayers. Inside a small farmhouse, a girl kneels on a rough blanket. Her lips are cracked from prayer, and her voice isn't her own. A priest presses a trembling crucifix to her forehead and whispers, "Leave her, in the name of Christ." The thing that answers laughs in his face. This isn't Hollywood. There's no spinning head, no pea soup theatrics, just a girl dying one prayer at a time while everyone around her argues what's killing her. Some say she was possessed, others say she was sick. When the prayers stopped and the candles went cold, one question remained. What if both were true? Tonight we're unraveling the true story of Anneliese Michel, the young woman whose battle between medicine and faith became one of the most haunting cases in modern history.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sisters of the Strange. I am an unknown character.
As am I. I'm Shae, and if you can figure out what costume I'm wearing, you win.
Then you are correct.
So basically, it's up to interpretation.
That's why we said whoever guesses is right.
Yeah. But I was 100% going for Shaggy.
You look like Shaggy, though. Like, you're passing the vibe.
All right. Do you have anything?
No.
I don't either.
Other than that, this is probably going to make me really scared, and I already don't like going home. My dog keeps barking at my doors in the middle of the night. Doesn't help we just did Black-Eyed Kids. Like, last night I started to, like, research one snippet, and then my front door kind of made a noise. Like, it was probably just, like, a bug hitting the door, because I have, like, a glass window, and they come for the light, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I like, backed up, so this is not going to help that.
It's going to be fine. This is a very well-known story.
I know, but I don't go into those well-known stories. I don't do anything.
You're like, I don't do anything with this for a reason.
I'm very interested in them. They just scare me. Like, the research, I can't get too heavy into the research because I will freak myself out really bad. I'll be laying in bed at night and I can, like, see them, whatever the case may be of whoever it might be. I can just see them standing. As soon as I open my eyes, I'm like, yep, that's it right there.
That's it. The devil.
Yes.
So I don't have anything else either.
Okay.
Other than I agree with you. We're staying on theme, on my Halloween theme that I've just like pieced together of satanic panic, possessions, did vampires, which is a little bit different, but
it honestly has all fallen into each other really well. The witches and the vampires, and then Black-Eyed Kids today being potential vampires. It's all piecing together very well.
And this was one that I had forgotten that I wanted to do initially, because when I was thinking about it today, I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to talk about? So I was like looking into some stuff and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I wanted to do this case. I've been wanting to do this case, but what better time now than Halloween? Okay. Anyways, before we get into Anneliese's story, we're going to kind of ground ourselves a little bit in what an exorcism truly is and what it is not.
Okay.
So when you hear exorcism, what do you think?
Well, I mean, there's like the dramatic Hollywood version, as you kind of alluded to, where it's like head spinning, vomiting, girl peeing on the floor while they're playing Shake That Ass. Watch yourself.
Not the Scary Movie reference.
But like that, and the whole Scary Movie part where she's...
That's what an exorcism really is. If we're going to be honest.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
But then there's the side of it where it doesn't have to be a person. It can be a home. You can exercise a home. You can exercise a person. You can exercise a place, whatever it may be, an item. So then my brain goes into just Catholicism, really, because you're supposed to be Catholic to do exorcisms and things like that. It's not supposed to be just any willy-nilly kind of person.
Yeah.
It is supposed to be a priest, and they have to read out of the Bible and exorcise this demon from you. And it's supposed to be more of like, not necessarily a calm sensation, but it's not it can have the screaming and all of that. But for the most part, they just look very ill. They do speak in tongues. Their voices change.
Mm-hmm. That's the scariest part for me.
Yes. The part where their whole entire persona completely changes. they start speaking a language they've never learned fluently at that.
Yes.
It's not just some random language. It's like they actually are speaking in tongues, which would be just another language that you don't understand. Tongues isn't actually just like, it's like
its own thing.
If someone was speaking French, I could call it speaking in tongues just because I don't know it.
Yeah.
And so that's the creepy part, is it's just something that truthfully, like a 7-year-old girl, she should have no knowledge of speaking said language. Correct.
And the guttural noise that is behind it, like it's just not a human sound.
No.
Like at all, in my opinion. Very, very unsettling.
No, none of them. That's why I can't listen to them. It's one of those things where, like with the black-eyed kids, how we were like, your body just knows it's wrong. So when I listen to those things, my body just, I recoil. I'm like, like that was
that visceral
horrifying
reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the word exorcism comes from the Greek exorchizen, meaning to bind by oath. So nearly every faith tradition has its own version of driving out evil, which would be basically just exorcising. In Catholicism, the ritual is codified in the Rituale Romanum of 1614. And it is incredibly stuck to its roots all the way up until 1999. It was the same and was unchanged completely.
Catholicism is very much like that, though. Like if you go to a Catholic church, they keep the same rotation of services, basically. Like every 4 years, they rotate and start over again. And it's just, you know what you're going to do that day. You can open, there's a certain book and you open it, and the pamphlet they give you at the beginning of the day will say whatever, but you do the same prayers. You're going to do 8 or 9 songs. You sing 8 or 9 songs. You sing one during communion. You sing one after communion, and then you're at a church. But you do the same thing. The sermon changes and the songs change to match the sermon, but for the most part, it's ritual. It's almost like ritualistic. It really is. Yeah. It's just based out of tradition. So
very rooted in that tradition. Yeah, for sure. So the Catholic process of an exorcism roughly looks a little bit like this. So if somebody comes to a Catholic priest or a Catholic church and is like, I need to exorcise my home, I need to exorcise my family member, I need an exorcism, this object needs an exorcism, whatever that may be, it has to be authorized by a bishop. And then the person or place who's requesting said exorcism has to undergo a medical and psychiatric test. That's not the right word I'm looking for. Evaluation. And those explanations for said behavior that they're needing exorcised has to be ruled out first.
So how does Zach Bagans just go about this with his bishop guy that he uses in every episode?
I don't know, man.
You know what I'm talking about? The
older guy?
No, that's the guy that makes the equipment.
Oh.
The older guy makes the equipment. He has a guy that wears glasses. He's got brown short hair. And he, I guess, is a bishop. But I don't want to say his name because I think I might be thinking of a bishop's name from my actual church that I was raised in.
Yeah.
So I'm don't want to say a name. But I can see the guy's face perfectly clear. But Zach did a house call show where it's just house calls.
He did. Well, maybe it's not
always brought in that guy to do the exorcism.
Maybe it's not a true, unless this guy's been given authorization to do this.
No, there really is supposed to be a whole process because it makes it way more difficult. There's not way more difficult, but the satanic panic and things like that caused so many people to think that they were needing exorcisms and things like that. There was times where it was just they always thought that. So to lessen the need for that, they make you do all of these things because it became such a popular. People are oh, I need to be exorcised.
Yeah, and that just wasn't the case.
No, it's people calling in with tips that aren't helpful.
Right. Yeah, it's almost false.
It's spamming.
Yeah.
It's okay, we can't
come
keep
to
doing everybody.
This. Yeah, we can't keep doing this. So the rite itself includes reading from the Gospels, the sprinkling or splashing with the holy water, the litany of the saints, and then the common thing that you hear basically along the lines of I command you, unclean spirit, to leave this servant of God, to leave this body, to leave this child, leave this home. That is interchangeable. Yeah. But that usually is pretty standard for an exorcism. An exorcism is meant to heal and not harm, but history has shown us in the past how easily that this fear can twist the purpose or the reasoning or the necessity behind it. And as we see in this case, eventually cause harm. Yeah.
Well, it's their body comes to learn to rely on what is within them if it's a person, and it can once that leaves their body, that's why sometimes people die, because their body was being sustained by this.
Right, exactly. And it just like sucks the life out of them.
Yeah.
But sometimes these, exorcisms can last for hours and hours, days even. And even though this is meant to be healing this person, all it does is after dealing with the yelling and the shouting and the this and the that for days, like you're going to get tired, you're going to get weak. It's just not pretty. All right. So here is a little bit of background on our main character of this story, Anneliese Michel, before the possession. She was born in 1952 in Leibelfling, Bavaria, and she was a member of a very devout Catholic family. She had a very strict mother. Her name was Anna Michel, and her mother basically forced her family into this heavy Catholic practice because she had her own shame from her past. She had a child out of wedlock. So she had this illegitimate child before she had Anneliese. And so she like carried this heavy, heavy guilt, and like this just like dove her into this religion. And this was like everything to her. So they were very Catholic because of that specifically. But Anneliese was described as a very bright, musical, religious, sweet, normal child. They went to mass every day. She went to school, did all the things that a normal kid would do. There was nothing. She had no issues beforehand.
Yeah.
Up until she was 16 years old. And this was in 1968. She had a seizure at school out of nowhere. This was the first time that she had ever seized before. And she was taken to the doctor. They examined her, checked her out, and they diagnosed her with temporal lobe epilepsy, which is just a seizure disorder that can cause you to have seizures randomly. With this specific temporal lobe epilepsy, it just targets a certain spot in your brain. It causes the seizures. It can cause hallucinations and also sometimes hyper-religious behavior, which is very interesting. She was prescribed Dilantin, which is a seizure medication, just an anti-seizure med, nothing crazy. And then later on, that switched from being prescribed Dilantin to Aolept, which I've never heard of before, but it's an antipsychotic medication. So it goes from a seizure med to an antipsychotic, which those have tons of side effects and can sometimes make things way worse than what they originally were.
Yeah, especially if you don't take it correctly.
Yeah, right. And she's like 16 years old, so like, come on. So while she was on the Dilantin, her seizures reduced. She didn't have any more seizures, or she didn't have as many seizures. And when they switched to this other medication, because she started having increase in like depression symptoms, she started having hallucinations. So it was like there was not a balance at all in her medical treatment. But it was like one thing or the other.
Yeah, you start one thing to fix this, and then it causes something else, and then
you take this, and then you gotta take this, and then you gotta take this. She says that she starts seeing these devilish faces and hearing these mocking voices whenever she's doing her prayer, mocking her during her prayers, things like this. This is where it starts, like auditory and visual hallucinations. Her family immediately decide that this is not a medical issue. This is not a neurological issue. This is a spiritual issue. She's having some kind of spiritual thing going on. We don't know if she's being attacked by something or if she's potentially about to be possessed or yada, yada, yada.
That's quite the jump.
Very much so. But when all you believe in is
good or bad,
spiritualism and good or bad.
Bad is bad.
Mm-hmm, bad is bad and bad is the devil.
Yep.
Every single time.
If you've learned anything.
If you've learned anything from this series, the devil is bad. Okay?
Okay.
But if you think about it, like, we're in the 1970s. So not only are we in the 70s, like if we were in America, it would be the same thing, that this mental illness is not what people think it is. And like people are like, oh, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a thing. Like, you're fine.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Relax. And so the same in Germany. This mental health issues were stigmatized and everything was faith-based, like I just mentioned. So yeah, you just have to kind of put it into perspective a little bit. Seems crazy to us, but to them, that was a completely normal way of thinking.
Yeah.
So from 1973 to 1975, she starts experiencing this behavioral shift. She started to avoid going to church, because she felt that anytime she walked by a cross or a crucifix that she was like physically like in pain, it bothered her. It made her very angry. The holy water burned her, she reported. She said that unseen forces were pressing down on her during her prayers. So she didn't want to do that because it was causing her this physical harm.
Yeah.
So she stopped going and started avoiding. She started doing these, what they call self-punishment rituals, like kneeling down on stone for long periods of time, not eating. She would not sleep in her own bed. She slept on the floor, and all of this just like crazy stuff.
I knew someone who did that when I was in college.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Like, not to the most extreme, but they self-punished themselves a lot. Not like self-harm, but like
Religious punishment?
Basically, yeah. Like
for like sin? Oh my God.
It was extreme. I was like, you do know that
you don't have to do that.
You don't have to do that, right?
Wow. That's crazy.
It was just kind of strange. It like opens your eyes. Like,
it's interesting.
Like people actually are like, I don't know. And I don't want to say this in a mean way or come across like wrong to the audience at all. I just think it's crazy that someone would, that is like hurting yourself. That's like denying yourself life's pleasures, but they think that God is the reason. Like, I mean, their belief is that God is the reason that they have these life pleasures. So like, if they're going to go against him, then they shouldn't have these pleasures.
She then starts to openly say that she's possessed by demons who mock everything holy. So she's like self-proclaiming, or she's like self-aware. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for.
She knows what's going on.
Yeah. She's like, something's wrong. This is not me. I don't want these things to happen.
I don't feel right.
Yeah. So her parents go to multiple priests. I think there was that I read that there was like 4 or 5 that they went to, and they all refused to do any sort of exorcism or ritual in that sense because they were all convinced that it was a medical problem.
Yeah.
She had a diagnosed temporal lobe issue, and she was on antipsychotic medication and blah, blah, blah. So they were like, no, we're not going to do this. She doesn't pass our rules.
Yeah, but also don't know the harm in just doing it.
Right.
Like
I
helping
agree.
them out. But I don't know the rules either.
And they have some rules. That's for dang sure.
Well, there's hierarchy there as well. Like they have to go up and then up and then up, like all the way up to the Pope.
Eventually, this priest, Father Ernst Alt, saw her case differently and agreed that she was possibly possessed. So he wrote to the bishop, and the bishop granted official approval for the exorcism, and Father Arnold Renz was also appointed to assist. So there was 2 priests that were involved. From there, they begin in a time span from September of 1975 to July of 1976, 67 exorcism sessions on this girl. Some lasted up to 4 hours, but there was 40 hours total recorded on cassette tapes that are like available. 67 sessions.
That's a lot. Like, I don't really know. My thoughts on that is kind of wild because I'm like, what takes 67 sessions? Like, why would that take you 67 sessions to handle?
Right. And like, at what point do you stop?
Yeah.
Like, had she not passed away,
they probably wouldn't have stopped.
Would they have stopped? You know?
I mean, go them for having that in them.
Yeah. That's a lot on them too, man. That's a lot of work for them. I also forgot to mention, I'm sorry, during her like self-punishment issues that she was dealing with, she was scratching herself. Like she was scratching her arms, and her parents had noticed that. So she was like having scratch marks and stuff. Said she was sleeping on the floor, and then she was also praying for hours and hours and hours at a time. Which is crazy because it seems like she realized that something was wrong early, and she was trying to fix it
like
herself.
Trying to save herself.
And then it just like went wrong.
Sad.
It's very sad. It's very, very sad.
What's also a little bit crazy is, don't know why, but just this story for me has always felt like 1600s, not 1975.
Yeah, you think it was way longer ago.
Yeah. When you said that, I was like, you reading that wrong?
Nope.
And then you continued on to the 1975 part, and I was like, so it's not. Okay.
It's not. It's a lot earlier than we thought it was, or later than we thought it was.
Yeah, more recent.
Yeah. So the doctors also had adjusted her medications, but her visions were getting worse during this period before the exorcism started. And she was hearing the figures tell her things like you will burn in hell and just like damning her and every single day. So she's like going through it, man.
Yeah.
On her own. So like I mentioned, between September of 75 and July of 76, they had performed 67 sessions, which is absolutely atrocious amount of times. Too many. During these times, she was speaking in multiple different tones. Like there was different tones for different entities, and she had multiple. She had 6 entities that were coming out while they were performing these exorcisms. They were all... She was a small girl.
Yeah.
She was not... I mean, I don't know. She looked small and frail. Her voice in these tapes is so deep and growling and like male sounding and just guttural. I could not make my voice sound like that. And I have a deep voice. Like I don't have a super high pitched voice, I don't think. And I don't think I could make my voice sound like that on purpose for 67 sessions for hours.
Ugh.
So she had claimed to house 6 entities: Lucifer, Cain, Judas, Nero, Hitler, and Father Fleischmann. Fleischmann. I don't know. German. Definitely German.
Okay.
He was a 16th century priest. Defrocked priest, whatever that means. Maybe like dethroned or whatever.
That's, it blows my mind because it's like, is this stuff that she has learned through school and stuff and it's just completely warped into her, whatever, her consciousness? Or is she actually being taken over by this many entities?
Mm-hmm. You can hear this, like the switching in her voice.
That's
like in
Patricia.
Between the voices. Yeah. That was Patricia. Exactly. Just like
just immediate.
Yeah. Super, super creepy. The growling, the mocking of the priest. Sometimes she was begging for mercy, like her voice would come through and she was like, please help me. And then other times it was the other voices saying things like, no priest can save me. I'm not coming out. Damn you to hell. In, Latin, languages that she doesn't know or didn't learn.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think about that.
What scares me about all of it is my idea of like a demonic possession has always been like the movies put you in that sort of this.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's like I've always just tried to imagine it because it really freaks me out. The idea of like going through what she's about to go through and what she did go through.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of that really scares me. And so I've always tried to ration with myself and be like, no, a demonic possession would just like, they would slowly take over you and then they would just slowly ruin your life and like cause just bad things to happen to you.
Yeah.
But the other part of me is like, there's just so many like evil people in the world that I feel like that would be a demonic, like I feel like they're probably taken over by demons. Like they actually probably are in league with like Satan because they're clearly like murderers and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, there's something, yeah. But a lot of those things can be neurological, can be neurological. And that's why people study serial killers so closely because it's like, there is something
in your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just want to understand that. And like, that's where I'm like, God, but I always try and ration with myself when I get scared because I like stuff like this scares me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll lay in bed at night and be like, what if a demon wanted me? Like, what if a demon did want me? Like, what would that do to my life? What would it do? Like, would it cause me to go through a divorce and have all these issues? Or like, would it be something like that where I'm
just completely
speaking in tongues and yelling at people? And like, I almost think it's worse for the people who are extremely religious because they're fighting it back so hard instead
so much
of just
harder.
Like taking it with them.
Mm-hmm. Or like trying to ignore it,
mm-hmm.
Because that could even be worse, just suppressing it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it's wild. Her and her 6 demons against the world. So during these sessions, she would crawl around. She bit her parents. She bit the priests, whoever, came to help, whoever was there. She was eating insects. She wouldn't change her clothes. She was wearing torn clothes. She would tear her clothes. And apparently there's even like some speculation that she was drinking urine as a self-punishment act as well.
Heard that.
And these priests were like she's going through it, man. Like, this is a spiritual battle. This is not a psychosis thing. But the doctors were like, it is.
It
definitely is.
Can I note that it's just traumatizing how much medical stuff and religious stuff gets muddled together?
Oh, it's terrifying, actually.
If there's like been one thing that has stayed consistent through our like theme of Halloween, it's religion and medical stuff being merged.
Religion and science, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're like,
could be. Separation of state and whatever.
Yeah,
Church and state.
Church and state.
Good Lord.
It's crazy up in here. That's why it's so interesting, because there's like, where's the line? You know?
Well, apparently there is not one anywhere.
I have yet to find it. Because I still am not sure.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, where the priest saw that she was possessed and saw that this was being caused by demons, the doctors were like, no, this is psychosis due to her epilepsy. The priests were like, no, like, we need to continue to do this. We need to continue to pray over her, and she's getting better. Like, we're seeing some improvement. And her parents believed that the exorcism was working, so they stopped all of her medications.
But that doesn't help.
That will only make the situation worse. So over the next few months, she completely stopped eating altogether for months. She was not sleeping, and she would kneel on stones repeatedly until her knees eventually fractured. So she was pretty much confined to her bed at that point. And by June of 1976, she was completely emaciated, completely dehydrated, and she weighed 68 pounds.
Oh my good Lord.
That's tiny.
Yeah, not good.
On July 1st, 1976, after the 67 exorcism sessions for hours and hours at a time, she died in her room at home.
From malnourishment.
From malnutrition and dehydration is her official cause of death. But after a year of exorcism, a year.
Why go that long?
Isn't that terrifying? I didn't even know. Like, I feel like there should be.
You got 30 days, my guy, and then you're evicted.
Yeah, you cannot continue that for a year.
No, because all that's doing on top of like helping her, it's not helping her. It might be to an extent, right? Might be helping her. But when you do it that much, it is harming her.
Yeah. Like I mentioned in the beginning, right?
Yes.
Like it's neglectful.
And it's almost like too much knowledge is power, if that makes any sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
So how there's some people who are too smart for society. They don't know how to function in society. And it almost makes me feel like that. Like, it's like she almost had too much power, which would only make the psychosis that's going on in her brain worse, because they're giving her more information. Like through the exorcisms, they're giving her more information to make her be scared of, or make her worry about, or to just like fuel this fire that's already in her. It's almost making it worse rather than better.
Right. Because not only is they're doing exactly like what you just said and fueling the fire, it's doing is, if she is possessed by all these 6 entities, it's just making them more pissed off.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, everybody just relax for a second.
Yeah. But it sounds like she's fighting,
take a deep breath.
Yeah,
she's
really hard
trying
as
to
well.
fight too.
It's just it's just so difficult to wrap my head around.
It's hard
that.
to understand.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to understand, because I don't want to be in her shoes, but.
Yeah, I don't really want to like know
I want to
more
understand,
than this.
but like not.
I don't want to understand any more than what like I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know? Because I feel like if it gets any deeper, it just confuses everything.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
As far as like the universe goes. And
that's why sometimes I can't look too far into things, because I'm like, I'll scare myself and then I'll be thinking about it. So like I said, like knowledge is power, or knowledge is almost not power. It's almost like detrimental to you.
Can be. Yeah, absolutely. It can be.
Because of, or if you're a hypochondriac like I am.
Yeah.
Not good.
You're like, what is actually going on here?
Yeah, it's not helping me.
But yeah, exactly. After all that, allegedly her final recorded words from herself was, "Mother, I'm afraid." So she was fighting for her life, man.
Oh.
So in 1978, the German state charged her parents and both priests with negligent homicide. And the prosecutors argued that they had ignored every single medical warning, because it was very obvious that the doctors and 4 other priests before these 2 said, this is medical.
Leave
she
it
doesn't
alone.
need an exorcism.
Yeah.
But to put in perspective, again, you were a devout Catholic mother all your life. That's all you've known. And your child now suddenly is afraid of crosses. She can't walk into the church. She's self-punishing. She's being burned by holy water. She's seeing the devil, hearing things that aren't there. Like, what would you do?
Why
would you not try at least once? Maybe not 67 times.
Yeah, but once.
But at least once, you know. So I think it was just the extent of this that was.
I also just feel like this falls back into the satanic panic of teenage angst and getting pulled into this. And if you're raised one way, and like I was raised in a certain way to where the devil and stuff really, really scared me until I could start rationalizing through it on my own.
Yeah.
Still not something I am super fond of.
Mm-mm.
But when you're raised a certain way, it almost like amps up your anxiety. Like the people who weren't raised in religion, they're not really scared.
Yeah.
Of the devil.
Because that fear was not instilled in them.
Yeah. And it doesn't really it almost doesn't seem like it. I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but it almost doesn't seem like it affects their life as much as it affects people who are like devout in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, it's almost like, I almost want to be like, well, it's the mom's fault anyways. But it's not, she's just following her religion. But it almost is like, goodness, like you're scaring your kids more. Instead of comforting your kids, you're scaring them more.
You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
It's so hard because it's like you want to just be like, well, just pray it away.
Yeah.
But then it's also like you're scaring her more by feeding it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's such a weird line.
It's a hard one. It's a doozy.
It's a doozy
over here.
Mm.
So while the prosecutors argued that they ignored all the medical warnings, the defense claimed that they were acting within sincere religious conviction because it was approved officially by the bishop and the whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They took the correct steps and it was approved. It wasn't like they were just doing this backyard exorcism. So in court, they included the audio tapes, the 40 hours of exorcisms, and journalists described the sound as, quote, inhuman screaming mixed with sobbing prayers. And at one point, the courtroom could hear her voice snarl, "I am Lucifer," while the priest prayed from the Rituale Romanum, which is just like, oh, God. One of those things you don't like to listen to. It's truly horrifying.
To have to be a juror in that and listen to all
40 hours.
Or whatever it is. Some like 67 hour, whatever it is.
40 hours of tape. That's longer than a whole day. That's almost 2 full days.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
To listen to that. No, thank you. I would think that I was possessed after listening to all that.
Yeah.
Like being forced to sit in there and listen to that. You're right. So the doctors testified that the starvation and not the spirits is what killed her. And the priests were insisting that the demons were preventing her from eating, telling her that she was going to be damned, so she better not. But she didn't. Because what else are you supposed to do? All 4 defendants were convicted but received suspended sentences, 6 months each, plus probation. And the verdict split Germany in half, basically, on these group of people who were, following this case. Like, was this sacrilege or was this justice that was served? Like, how could they arrest these priests for doing the right thing and what they're supposed to do versus you killed that girl, you overdid it.
Yeah.
I'm
stuck on that too. It was a border for me. I think it is too far. And I think as a parent, you have to have a stopping point. So it's like, you got to have some selfishness, but awareness as well. And it sounds like the parents didn't.
They did. They were just like, keep going.
Yeah. That's faith. That's having a lot of faith, but they probably should have continued her on her medications.
Yeah, they should not have stopped her medications. So after her death, Anneliese's grave in Klingenberg, Germany became a pilgrimage site. People come from all around. Visitors leave rosaries, flowers, letters to her, prayers for her, all the things. Some people claim that when they visit her, they are seeking miracles. And other people are just like proclaiming guilt for the religion and what this did to her type thing, which is very heavy. I bet that's a very dense
place to visit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But also after her death, the Catholic Church quietly revised its exorcism guidelines in 1984 and then again in 1999, adding even stricter medical review and mental health screening beforehand. This was not a widely known, they didn't come out and say, we're sorry that this happened. We're going to change things. This was our fault. They just did it and didn't say anything.
Yeah.
So it wasn't this case helped change the rules for exorcism. No, they were just we can't do that again.
Yeah. Well, I get it. Since it's a religion that's so based in tradition, they probably don't want to put it in the newspapers that they're changing the religion.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the religion.
And it's been that way since, what did I say in the beginning? 1700s, 1600s.
Forever.
Yeah. forever.
So like, I get that they aren't like headlining of the newspaper, Catholic religion modified.
Changes exorcism guidelines.
Yeah, like I get it, but it's cool that they made modifications at all. I'll give them that.
If that's what we're going to get from that, then I'll
We'll
take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it. Her story inspired multiple films, including The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which is the most popular one of her story that came out in 2005. This is the best known one. This movie itself sparked decades of theological and psychiatric debates versus like what we've been talking about this entire time.
Yeah.
Medicine or science versus religion. Modern experts label it as psychotic epilepsy or dissociative psychosis, intensified by cultural suggestion. So she was in this dissociative psychosis or, type of multiple personality type thing, but it was just
Amplified by her knowledge of her own
because
religion.
of her religion. Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of the right word to say.
Yeah.
But that's why it was all religion-based psychosis.
That's all she knew.
And that's like a normal thing. Like a lot of the times people who do develop psychosis and things like that, a lot of the times it is religion and like schizophrenics and things like that. Like they claim to either hear God talking to them all the time, telling them you have to do this so I can save you, or you have to do this so you could save your family, or the devil saying like, if you don't do this, I'm going to kill you.
I wonder if it's just the fear of religion.
So that's a very interesting question to ask. Or she didn't think she was possessed. She knew something was wrong, but she didn't think she was possessed until they said over and over and over and were doing all these things over and over that she was like, or realized that she was, or she believed it at least.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't. None of that explains to me the audio tapes. None of it. The voices, the changing of the voices.
I mean, I definitely believe in demonic
languages.
possession. I definitely believe in it. My only thing is I'm like, but what is the end goal of a demonic possession like that? What good does it do any of the demons to inhabit her body?
Well, that's like their whole thing.
I would imagine they'd want to live on the planet, like in a body on the planet, just in society, and make like bad decisions in society.
True.
That's where I imagine it. Like,
so why make yourself known to the fact where you're getting called upon by a priest?
Yeah, but like, what's the point in being inside of a body that's just going to die anyways, and you're just going to go back to hell because...
Yeah, you might as well just get on, move on.
Like, why don't go cause way more havoc in
somewhere
a different
else.
body?
Yeah.
Like, that's the part of it for me that's like, but why? Why do it in that way? I think it's up to interpretation.
Oh, absolutely.
Because stuff like that still scares the shit out of me.
Case to case basis.
Yeah.
I mean, this one is...
It still scares the shit out of me. I'm like, it's terrifying. And like Bobby Mackey's, listening to any of that stuff, they scare me. I just don't understand the end goal of what the demon wanted by doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's big questions, girl.
I would want, like, if I was a demon, I would want to do more than that.
My brain hurts.
Well, I'm like, I'm not a demon though, so I don't know their reasoning. I don't know the rationality,
Yeah.
And
oh boy, yeah, that's a...
But it is hard to explain those things. But they do. I mean, like, can't the psychosis really make your voices and stuff? Can't you start to change? Won't you change your voices and stuff with situations like that?
I mean, I guess you could.
Like the guy split in the personalities. He uses different voices and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But his is like normal voices. It doesn't sound like a creature,
Yeah, I don't like that side of things.
It's the inhuman noises that you hear behind the voice.
Yeah.
Is what's scary.
Yeah.
Because you can hear the words and you hear the language, but there's that background of growl and, the only word that you can describe it with is that guttural sound. So, I don't know. I haven't listened to it in a long time. I listened to it today. Or
while you were home alone with it just echoing throughout your house.
Yeah, man.
Ugh.
Daylight, it's okay.
No. Even daylight, I would be in my own home and I'd be like, ugh.
I mean, it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, very uncomfortable.
But I just don't think things through like you do.
I overthink
And then when
everything.
you talk to me, I'm like,
oh shit.
Ow.
I overthink everything.
That's called anxiety.
Yes.
So, what was she really? A victim of mental health? A case of possession? Or both? Because belief is powerful, and when medicine fails, people turn to whatever can save them or damn them faster. Her story is tragic, layered upon tragedy. A sick girl, a family desperate for meaning, a church trying to fight evil with prayers instead of IV drips. Whether you believe in demons or dopamine, the result is the same. Faith and fear can both kill if we don't balance them with compassion.
I really do think that it was probably a case of both. I think she was definitely influenced by the devil. I think that that's what was going on there. I don't know about 6 entities, but I do think there was something dark there.
Mhm.
And that will lead me into another tangent on when you go to haunted houses and stuff like that. Is it the devil running around in these haunted houses? How is there so many different evil spirits roaming through every single
one?
everyone?
Yeah, like they can't all be evil.
Yeah. It's just how is there that many evil spirits in general?
Yeah.
Is kind of one of my questions. I definitely believe that they're there, but I almost want to know, is it truly like a demon or is it some sort of other entity that we don't even
know about?
Have like we've touched base on it because we hear them, but like, do we really know what they are?
Yeah, could be.
My brain will deep dive way off in this.
I could tell. I kept it very surface level though. I tried to. The scary part about this case for me and why I've always been so interested in it is because of how intense the exorcism was. Because you don't hear of any that were really this bad. Like,
no, they're normally like a couple days.
Yeah. And the recordings themselves to go along with it to make it just really makes you realize how horrible and scary this was for her, regardless of if it was mental health or the devil.
Well, I mean, imagine how scary it is just for us listening. Imagine being her and being in it. And like hearing that come out of your body and being like, but why is that coming out of my body? Like, I'm not doing that. How is that happening?
Yeah.
Whether it was psychosis or not, how is that happening? How is that coming out of my body? I just heard it.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Being so terrifying and not being able to speak or get through with your own
Can't get your own
voice.
Words out. Yeah. No, thank you. I couldn't imagine not being able to communicate what was going on in my brain right now to you. Like just sitting here and looking at you, not being able to be like, get it to you at some way.
Some way.
Yeah. I almost lose my mind. Like I almost go crazy whenever I just can't like think of what I was about to say and it goes away. I'm whoa, and it makes me so mad.
Yeah.
Or when you can't think of the right word. A lot of people can just like move on from that. I will sit here
until I figure it out. Yeah. I'm the exact same way when it comes to that.
Yes.
For sure.
No, I can imagine just how terrified she must have been.
So crazy. When I say the word crazy, I don't mean like you're crazy. It's just like
it's
I
hard
don't
to wrap
know
your
how
head
else
around.
to explain that just because I don't understand it. Yeah.
I don't have too many words. I don't want to say I don't know so many times because my brother said he doesn't like listening to our podcast.
We don't have answers ever.
No.
To be fair. We try and we don't get anywhere with it.
I think for her, I think it was a solid mix. I think one, just religious fear.
That's a big piece of it, I think.
Religious fear is a massive thing that I think a lot of people go through. I think a ton of people go through fear in religion. So I want to say it was probably partially that. Teenage angst. We're talking about a 16-year-old. We just talked about the teenage angst with your satanic panic episode. And just your hormones on top of mental health issues.
Yeah.
I think it's a solid mix. The recordings, I don't know how to describe that necessarily. That's where I'm like, I think it is a mix. I think that there is some force there probably. But also if you're schizophrenic, you can do a lot of stuff. Think of all the people who can beatbox and like, but they can do, no, but shut up. If you're schizophrenic, you can beatbox. Okay. But no. Did I catch you off guard with that?
Yes.
Oh well, I'm thinking, think of how they can make 2 different noises with their mouth at the same time.
That's true. But
that's where I'm going with that.
Okay. But like,
so in her recordings, when she has 2 different voices going on at once, the bitch just knows how to beatbox.
Oh my God, I'm crying. But I could argue the fact that
she doesn't know how to beatbox.
She doesn't know how to beatbox. So it's the devil. That's what she's doing while she's praying. She's under there and she's like, no one can hear me. I'm sorry, everybody. Don't listen to me. If that shows you my rational thinking at all, then you might not want to listen to this podcast. The bitch can just beatbox. It's amazing. Oh my God. I'm obsessed with that, actually. I think that's great. That's a really good way to look at it. You're good at that. You're very good at rationalizing things.
It's because I always think of the worst possible thing that could happen. So
I just also think on top of all of that, that most people and in normal societies, people don't want to believe that somebody can be possessed by a devil.
Yeah.
So they try to rationalize it in all of these other ways to make it make sense because that just seems so out there.
Yeah. The
when
fear
truthfully it might not be, and we just don't know that.
I think a lot of people aren't necessarily like for me, it doesn't seem irrational. For me, it seems so scary that I'm like, I'm rationalizing in a different way to where I don't think it's going to, because I'll go to bed and be like, I'm next. I'm next. And so that's where I have to rationalize in a different way.
I just think a lot of people don't want to admit the fact that you can be possessed by something.
I definitely think you can be taken over by anything, whatever you open your body to. So I do think exorcisms like that occur. I think that definitely occurs. A possession like that occurs. But I think like the number one form of possession in modern world would just be like the devil taking over your life. And it wouldn't necessarily always look like that.
No, it doesn't have to.
I think there's multiple different ways that you could be possessed. I think it's extremely possible.
Yeah, I agree.
In everyday life.
I 100% agree. I don't know. We'll leave it at that. Leave it at that thought, because if we don't, we're just going to...
Yeah, I'm like, I think it got really religious really fast.
We're going to keep spiraling.
Yeah, we'll leave that there.
Let us know your thoughts on this case. I'm sure there's people out there that have done more research on this than I did. But like I mentioned before, if I go too deep in it, things probably just get too much too fast. So I just wanted to talk about the nitty gritty of the case. It's a popular case. There's a great horror movie based off of it.
Yeah.
Big fan.
And so I had no idea that her parents like got arrested and had to go to trial for all of this. So that's new. That's new to me.
Yeah. It was a big deal, man.
Yeah, I'm learning. I didn't know any of that.
Good. I'm glad. Yay.
Didn't know any of that.
Go team. So yeah, let us know what you think. Talk to us in the Discord. Super fun. We have a little small community in there right now. We do a lot of talking. I'm in there more often, but
most of my issue is actually that I just keep my phone in do not disturb from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and from 8:45 to like 8 a.m. So I only get notifications on my phone screen for like
a couple hours
3 hours a day.
But anyways, I hope you have really sweet dreams tonight, because I know I will.
Okay, well, we will see you either this week or next week. I don't know when this episode's even coming out.
We don't know what's happening anymore. We're like 4 episodes deep in 2 days. So
see you whenever we see you.
Our brain is the egg on drugs right now. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.